Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. I am on episode 270. This is going to be a special episode. I am going to walk through the progress I have made on my Prismacolor master sheet with my first conversion budget set of the Starjoy Gold. This was a request specifically from a subscriber who asked if I knew of any conversion charts that converted Starjoy Gold to Prismacolor. So I've already done the easier part, which is pick the Prismacolors that work for the Starjoy Golds, but what everybody really wants, I'm sure, is what I'm working on now. It's very close to production ready, but I wanted to walk through with you guys, get some feedback, and then continue to fine-tune what my picks are for the Starjoy Golds. I went so far as to doing 2 color combos on some of them. So I have some dots that I've used. You will see pink and orange. The pink is what I consider a no match. I have put a match, the closest I can find. Those I am going to look through because I have found some improvements now that I have the list the way it is, and I'll show you how I can kind of go through, move things around, and be able to fine-tune my choice. I will be putting up on the coffee shop the master, which actually the master will look like this without dots, so that you can take this master if you don't own any Prismacolors. I will digitize it. My scanner is a decent scanner. It does a pretty good job of printing, and so I'm going to go ahead and digitize that without any colors in. I will be using this master over and over as I find sets that I need to have conversions of, and I can't find them out there on the internet. There are really good colorists out there who do fantastic conversion charts, and I now, even though I've always appreciated them, I really appreciate them now. This is a lot of work, and it's like subjective. You know, what I might think isn't a good match, someone else might say that's just fine. So this is just to get you guys started, those of you who have the Starjoy Golds and would like to start using them for color alongs, tutorials, etc. Some of you might want to grow your Prismacolor set, but you want to do it slowly. So let's get right down to it. So what I have got is these strips. The strips have the Starjoy Gold number or 2 numbers, and it also has on the side here are my dots. What I want to do, I'm going to show you the aerial view first of all 3 sheets. Then I believe it will work better. This is actually take 2, by the way. Take 1 was a little bit rough, so I went through and wanted to clean up a little bit of my choices. Like, I had a couple of them that I had forgotten. I'd flip-flopped them on accident because I did most of this work while in bed at night. And I do good work in bed when I'm relaxing, but sometimes I get a little sloppy, so I needed to do some cleanup. Then I ran out of pink dots. Pink dots are used for my crafting, the card crafting, and I did not have very many left, so I had to run to Walmart and get 2 new boxes of them, or packages of them. Okay, so this is the yellow to purple. You're going to find that this page is the worst of the colors that don't have matches. Blue is a problematic one for matches. Then green is really good. I'm very happy with how the greens came out, green being my favorite color, and there being so many possible greens in the world that I was very impressed with how the greens did really well. Then we move on to browns and grays, and you only get 8 grays. I was very impressed with how I was able to stretch the grays and use them across the very extensive Prismacolor gray palette. I did not do the metallics, I didn't do the neons. So on that note, I'm going to go back to my first page. This just gives you a highlight overview, and then I'm going to zoom my camera down so that we can go through each row bit by bit, and I'll dissect the work that I have done. I come from a world back in the day. I worked in IT. I had a really strange title at the end. I was called a Scrum Master. And so I am really into details, love the details. And that is why this is a struggle for me, because I like everything to really match perfectly. I do realism in the past, and that was very detailed, very tedious work. So I love doing this. I just don't, it's hard for me to make that decision, which is why my daily color is so nice, because I just sit down, I pick some colors, and I go, and I don't overthink it. This whole process is all about overthinking. The more you overthink, I think the better you can get your sheets to be more accurate and more fine-tuned, but of course, at some point we have to stop. So I'm doing this video to get myself to go to that next level of this and be done. But if you guys see anything very major missing, or if I'm overthinking it too much and you're like, no, you can just do X, why are you doing Y? Let me know. So here we have, these are repositionable, and here is an orange dot. Do you think I'm going to know? Oh, I think this dot goes here. So these are going to move around, so I do need to get, I have to be careful. I even found a pink dot on my thumb. After I went off to like get some water, I come back and there's a pink dot. So this way I can just move up and down through the list. Okay. So the very first set of colors, the yellows did really well, match-wise. You can see the similarities from, I'm going to take this, oh golly, look at me. Look at me go. I shouldn't have done that. Boom. And I will set that off to the side so it's not distracting and so I don't move it all around. I start to see some trouble here with the peach beige, but between the two peach beiges, I think 107cc is fine. You would have to decide if in your, whatever you're using the Starjoy Gold substitutes for, will determine whether or not you would maybe need to get this darker seashell pink. So for me, I think I could get away with not having it. However, down here with this beige color, 10-0 is actually quite peachy orange. I have evening light. I have some warm light rather than natural light. I hope that that allows you to see better. This is happening late at night because, like I said, this is take 2. Take 1 was already done. I filmed it. I had some issues with running out of my materials and decided I would pursue further making everything more complete. Eggshell is a little bit lighter, 15Y, but I think that that would work. Again, beige is my opinion that this is a little too peachy. You would have to determine whether or not you could get away with that. Actually, what's funny is looking at it right now, the way it is versus earlier today, I would now take this off. So lighting is a big difference. When I do scan this, I'll scan the master and it will only have the one row. And then you can print it out and you can color your own, but I'll show you one of the little tricks that I've done. You can color this, or you can print 2 copies and have a bunch of these little squares if you want to mix and match by the individual square. It really depends on how granular you want to go with your own choices. And then the third option is that you print the whole thing with both sets of colors down and just use my choices. I am good with all of the colors going down the row. I do think yellowed orange, if I were to have colored in all the tooth here, I think this would be a little bit more brownish, have more rust in it than orange. And this is a little bit pinker. This is actually an orange, as in an orange dot, because I think it will work, but it is two colors. And the way the colors, when I'm doing two colors, the top color is the base, with the second color being over the top. You will have to play with your own combos. This is a great stopgap if you are wanting to perhaps collect the Prismacolors, but only a few at a time with buying singles. Mineral orange looks pretty good. Again, this to me, depending on how important it is that it be that rusty color. This 104S has a little more red in it than I would like, so I put it in a, if it were me, I would want the original Prismacolor. However, the next one, I think I could get away with using the 50R. Then I like the orange to orange, and I like the pale vermilion. I could soften this. Now this one I filled in the tooth quite full, but I didn't with the Prismacolor, so I think that I could fuss around with how much I put down of the Starjoy to make it match better. I have double colors for Nectar and Salmon Pink. I think they both came out very nice and would work great as long as you're willing to put in the little extra effort to do the double colors. It kind of depends on how you're using them. At the end, we'll talk about pricing. Let's see if I'm off the page yet. Nope. I'm going to move up now. I'm going to watch the camera and make sure that you can see. So back up here, just in case, I talked about pale vermilion. Yep, I think that all showed. Then going down Nectar and Salmon. Great two color combos to match those colors. Peach is good. I want to talk about these three. We've got Peach, Light Peach, and Deco Peach. They're all peaches. I have picked 3 different colors, and I actually think that you can mix and match. Like, I do think that 60R matches this peach really well. 9R0 is a little bit more pink, and so I could probably have done another square over the top of this one. So as I fine-tune this for actual digitizing and production, this is one of my possibilities of moving 60R up and having 89S be for both the Light Peach and the Deco Peach, and not using 9R0 at all. Deco Pink looks great. And then I did a combo for Pink Rose, but I'm not really too enthralled with it. It's a little too pink, needs a little more gray. So not only did I do a 2-color combo, starting with 68 MP and then putting 108 CC over the top, but I also think that if it were me, I would probably just buy it. And then the last one here, 108 CC is the right hue. It's just the wrong intensity. It needs to be darker. So I would be buying that. That is how I would handle that. Moving to the other side now. So you can see on this side we have 4 that I say you should actually purchase. But I have alternatives that you can use in the meantime if you want to get them slowly. And then I had 4 that I did 2 colors to make the equivalent. Moving over to the reds. The reds the reds were a lot of work. That was a slog and a half. So I have a 2-color combo for this Clay Rose. I don't have a pink dot by it. That would be up to you. I thought that this did a pretty decent job, and it was not that hard to do. Blush pink is good. I do think that this pink is a lipstick, a little bit of an orangey pink or a peachy pink. And 87S was the closest match, and I would want to have the actual Prismacolor pink. Permanent red, we have 3 reds that are very close. I would even call this Scarlet Lake a 4th red. Then we finally get to some darker tones. So if you take these 4 reds and you analyze our red options, first off, there's not very many red options in the Starjoy Gold. So I would pick, looking at the 4, I think 4OR is a good, like a poppy red. It's a good poppy red. It has some orange in it. And I think it could cover for carmine red and poppy red. I do not think it is a good match for permanent red. So I have the pink there because I would want permanent red on hand in the flesh, and would be wanting, that would be one of my highest priority ones because the reds are so weak in the Starjoy Gold. Either that, or you could just say that the Prismacolor reds are really, there's a really strong big set of reds in the Prismacolor. So Crimson Red is a double, and these 3 are all very similar. That gets pretty brown. So in these 3, where we're getting into the darker reds, you could grab one more red. I didn't even mark it as pink because from here you have to just decide, depending on what you are doing with your substituting and what the purpose is, whether or not you really have to have like the orange red, which I would do permanent red, and then the kind of the red, whether or not you need that middle one, which would be the crimson red. So now we're going into some double color combos, and I think these are pretty decent, these 2. I like how Black Raspberry was reproducible by 99S, which is barbecue, one of my favorite colors, and then a light layering of black. 118 GS is black. So you're just adding a tone over that barbecue to get a close match to Black Raspberry, and I think it does a good job. Mahogany Red looks pretty good. It's a 2-color combo to make it. I did not say that Raspberry here needs to be purchased. It just, in this case, you've got these color tones, same thing. You just have to pick. To me, I didn't think it was as important because I do have also, now that I'm looking in this different light, 99S. If I just slide 99S down, that's a really good match in this lighting to the Raspberry. So this is where I think once I provide this list, you should chop it into pieces and be able to take a small chunk, a sliver of this like I'm doing, and run it up and down for picking your matches. I think that this needs to be more of a dynamic tool. If you want to get the most out of your Starjoy Golds and save the money and not have to buy the Prismacolors. Okay, so we're going down the list, and the next one that I see a concern with is magenta. I would be buying the magenta. This is just too pink for me, and I would want to have the actual. And then the one right below it, Process Red, is another one that I need. This is very vivid, and both of these are vivid enough that those 2 are just not quite there for me. I am very happy with the next 3. The hot pink is good. Mulberry Substitute is good. Black Cherry is great. It's 2 colors, but it does very nice. It is the black again, just by toning down 52 VR. Here is what 52 VR is without the black. Look how nice that transitions. The dark purple, I have a pink dot because I really feel that's a unique color in the Prismacolor color palette, and 52 VR just doesn't have the pop that I think it needs. But again, just depends on what you're going to be using it for. Dahlia Purple, pretty decent. It's a 2-color blend. You can tweak it a little bit by how much of these 2 colors you put. This 49 RV is that right there, and then 52 VR is the one below it, this right here. Combining those 2 together, you get a pretty decent Dahlia Purple substitute. It is my master sheet that I'm going to be using for any other conversions. I think Prismacolor is like a base pencil brand, and as the years have gone by, I have accepted that they are a very popular pencil out in the coloring world, and I just have to embrace them and make the most of it with them. So there's the 4 to old and new. I don't even have like old or new next to them. Maybe I could put O and N. Haven't done that yet. And then the colors that I picked for substituting are the 86 MP for both of the orchid and the lavender, and you'll have to decide if this lavender is quite bright, a little bit more pink, and way more vivid than 86 MP. And so you'll have to decide for yourself if you need to replace it. Now in this later light, the 47V is a little bit deeper and lacks kind of the gray of the lilac, and so I say I would want to buy the lilac to have it, but I'm okay with the amethyst using 84 MP. In my, again, it just depends. I had to, if I were to pick, it would be dependent on what projects I was working on as to which I would get. But absolutely, grade lavender, I have to own grade lavender. That is too big of a difference. And there, you could play with a gray on that. I want to take all of the pinks and I want to look at them and see if it's a matter of a shade that I could just add a gray over the top of the 45 BV. So this again is just like a preliminary where it's getting pretty close, but subject to change for the final version. So that is the end. We have, let's see, how many do we have on this side? So many. I'm just going to go to my list. I have 9 2-color combos, the oranges, and I have 7 that I say I would want to own the Prismacolor. Moving on to sheet 2. Let's see if we can get this. I'm going to move that off. The blues, there are so many blues and there are some issues with them, so let's just take a look one at a time. So the violet I'm pretty good with. Black grape is a beautiful color, and I was able to replicate that very nicely with black first and a layer of 63J over the top, which I believe is blue violet, and it did a very nice job. Now the dioxazine purple hue, 2-color, I still think I could darken it up some, and I think that it could get brightened up, but that is one that if that's a very specific color that you need, that might have to be that you buy the original. Just depends on how much you have to fuss to replicate that color and what it's used for. The 60J is pretty good for Imperial Violet. The combo of 60J plus 59J does nice for Violet Blue. I am happy with 40 VB for Ultramarine, although the Prismacolor in this light now has a tint of purple that you would have to see if 40 VB was going to be okay. If it was being used as a blue, yes. If it's being used as a purple, you might want to own the Prismacolor. Indian Throne Blue is a combo, and I see it as a little more Prussian blue when I combine 40 VB plus 109cc, which 109cc is the indigo. I see these little dark bits there. I'm not sure what those are, but they're on there, so they're not just they're not crumbs. So you might have Indian Throne Blue being so in depth that you need to own it, but that really depends. But indigo blue is an absolute for me, and what I would be doing with it, the 109cc is not vivid enough and it's not deep enough for what I would need to be using it for. Happy with the denim blue. Between cerulean blue and true blue, we only have 38B. I think 38B is good enough for replacing true blue or substituting for true blue, but I really think cerulean blue, I think that's worth buying it to have that color. That is a good color to have on hand. Happy with 59J. China blue I'm okay with. There's a, since it's like a light, medium, and dark, it would really depend. I even see this, oh, that is 59. Notice how I did 59J a little bit lighter here? I think you could work on that and actually probably use that in place of China blue and not have to buy it. Because cobalt blue hue does not have a very good match. You could try 59J a couple of different ways, but it's missing a little bit of purple, that purple hue that it has. And the only thing I had at the time was 43 BV, but again, I'm going through all of these pinks and I will see if I can do a better match. I might be able to do something better here. I'm looking all the way up to 40 VB, I wish there was a way I could tone that down, and I might be able to do that with a lighter coat. That's a very heavy layer of the 40 VB, because up above here, I'm trying to replicate something really dark. So I might be able to make that a little bit better. Mediterranean blue, I really think, look at that. I think that that is a better match than 78 MP by itself. This is for slate gray. Do not like it for slate gray at all. Slate gray might be better if I'm to use one of the grays. So it's a 2-color combo. I am not very impressed with my color combo now because it's like many days later. So it's pink. It will get another pass, and see if I can get a better match. Ironically, periwinkle, that is not a good match at all. And neither is blue violet. Like, both of these need a better match. And notice I only put one pink, so I'm gonna stick with that for the moment, but I will catch it on the next round as I fine-tune what I need to do. Blue Lake I did not mark. I am okay with this tone. I just need to see if I can get 42 BV to be deep enough. I am okay with the tone of 44 BV for Caribbean Sea. They're just a little bit on the light side, so it's possible I'll be able to darken those up and be happy with them. But light cerulean blue, I'm going to move up now. So you can see blues are tough. Blue and red, tough, tough, tough. Tough crowds, both of them. I feel that 79 MP is a totally different blue, and I didn't see a good substitute. I think a better substitute almost is this 42 VB, but notice there's this a little bit more of a blue, cloud blue in there. So I think that I picked between, there's like 5, look at all 5 of these blues. I think you could do some substituting and not have to have all 5 of those. But look over here, I don't have all the best of matches. So here is powder blue. I tried to do 42 VB very lightly. That's this color up here, and that is going to be way too much work. I absolutely think it needs to be purchased. You need to own the Prismacolor. It's a unique enough color. And I think that cloud blue 39B works fine for both the cloud blue and the sky blue light. Electric blue and non-photo blue, boy do those look the same to me. Very, very similar. And I think 79 MP, though it's missing a little bit of that cerulean-ness, I also want to slide all the way down. Pardon the cough. And here's another option for you depending what your purpose is. 38B is also a great substitute. Which is why I think cutting this into 2 pieces and being able to slide it around will be very helpful for you. Love peacock blue. That's a good substitute for it. Now we're going to move up to the green, the top. And I just think the greens are pretty darn good. I was impressed. So walking down through the greens, we're going to move this one off. Happy with the first 4. This is a little bit, this 120 GS is okay. It would be a little situational whether, I wouldn't buy both of these though. I would think that you could get one or the other if you wanted to have one and then have this 120 GS help in your substitution. The next bunch of them actually are pretty good. I like all of these. Very nice. Prussian and olive are very similar. I used the same color combo. It looks, those two look the same to me. And those were easy to replicate. Definitely need to buy Kelly green because that green is not going to work. And I'm looking through all of the other greens and I don't see a good Kelly green. I guess 25YG is another option, depending on what you're using it for. Or you could just choose to buy Kelly green. I definitely think also that the sap green light, that is too light. And I did not see, I don't think there's a good color combination to be able to replicate sap green light. It is its own thing, and if you want to do, you're going to need to buy the Prismacolor version. Pale Sage, that's okay. It's a little bit bright, but I think it will work. And then this Apple Green is okay, but absolutely you will have to buy Spring Green. I love this color. It's just not going to be able to replicate the Prismacolor Spring Green. That is uniquely bright and fluorescent-ish. Same with Chartreuse, although in the evening light here, I don't find that Chartreuse is that far off, but in the daylight light, definitely not close enough. 24 GY is too light. I'm pretty good with the lime peel, the Starjoy equivalent. I'm going to move up now. Again, lime peel, I'm okay with. Kelp green, I'm okay with. The marine green, I'm all right. I had to try to replicate moss. These three, very similar. The moss green just has a tiny bit more brown. So if you want to have one of these three Prismacolor to help with your color selections, maybe you go with moss green so you don't have to do a color combo of two colors to try to replicate it, because that's probably of the three the most off to me. Artichoke I'm okay with. It depends. Again, there's not enough green in this cinnamony color, but I think it's all right. And ginger root I'm okay with. Looking at our dots, again, the blue side, I'm just going to look from my list. On the blue side, I had 5 two colors, and then I had a no match for 7 of them. And that, again, is a little bit more subjective, just like the reds, where you don't need to have all of them substituted, but there were certain ones that you will want to strongly consider buying. The third page is oops, I bumped it. I was pretty impressed with the browns and grays, especially with what I was able to accomplish with the grays, given that we only have 8 of them in the set, the Starjoy set. So the only color in the browns that I felt I would want to buy is Putty Beige, because there isn't anything close to it, and that is a very unique color. All of the other colors I was able to replicate very nicely with a few combos with 2 colors. These 3, Dark Umber, Espresso, and Sepia, so similar. They look like, in this light, they all look the same to me. So my replication of them is with the same color combo. So you could just as well buy one of the 3 of these if you wanted to, and use them for all 3. We're getting into the grays. Now the grays are interesting. There are so many different gray tones. You will see that for French gray, I found a very nice substitute with 117 GS, and then there's the different percents, and walking down the list, the French grays, you do have what's called French grays with the Starjoy Golds, and that's what all of these are here. And then we have, moving on to warm gray. The warm gray is very warm, warmer than the Prismacolor. So again, that's a little subjective. When I hit these 2 colors, the tone is definitely more warm or brown. But then we go into the higher warm grays, and I'm very happy with these matches. The black, I used the black for the cool gray 90%. I used the these grays, the 115 GS, I actually use, and it is a warm gray, but it works very well for the cool grays. I just put it down and I'm like, okay, that is definitely going to work. Now we move over here, and I had to do a combo for these 3. The only one I'm not very happy with is the cool gray 20%. I think I could get away with these 2, but depending on what you're using them for, you might just want to buy those 3. If you're working on any kind of nature portraits or anything, if you're just doing coloring pages, you could probably replicate doing these color combos. And notice the trick. I used a base of 115 on the top one, which is 50% cool gray, and I used a base of 119 GS, which is cool gray 30%. So the darker one went down first, and the lighter one second over the top. And then for the lighter version of it, I used 119, which is the lighter gray, and put a light coat of 115, which is the darker gray, over the top. I just inverted them. So that is a trick you can play with. This is 2 blue. 39B is a blue with 119, which is a gray. It is the blue. It's this wonderful gray. I even have it out. It is called, so 119 is used in all four of these, because it is the 10% cool gray, and it is fantastic. It is called blue gray, and it really works wonders if you want to substitute and don't want to have to buy the Prismacolor equivalents. Again, I did not do the metallics, I did not do the neons, and somewhere on my list henna got overlooked. 104S is the closest, and I really think that I would need to buy the actual henna. It is such a unique color. Whew. The only other interesting color possibly for henna is this 100S. Let me take that off. That is not bad in this light. I just now, it just caught my eye. So I might be able to tweak that. So again, I'm getting really close on this list. It is a constant labor of love. It is something I do enjoy doing, getting this nitty-gritty, but for me, I just love getting the conversion charts and using other people's, not having to get all into this. So I hope that you guys will find it useful. And now I want to talk a little bit about numbers, that is prices. What does this all translate to? You know, you buy the, you know, they now have the Starjoy Gold in a case, and it's $23.99. The price might have gone up, but currently that's what I paid for mine. And so you're into this $23.99. You've got a great deal. It's a great budget set. So if you decide you're just wanting to replicate the no matches, right now I have 30 no matches, and I found 2 places. The absolute cheapest place right now is Cheap Joe's. They're on sale. If you buy 24 or more, they're $1.09 a piece, so that's $32.70. There is a minimum required order for free shipping, and I don't know what the free shipping is, so you would have to find something else. But the something else might just be that you don't want to do 2 color blends, so maybe you pick and choose from this list and don't buy the 28, but you buy just enough to get over, like if it's a $59 limit or $59 minimum order for free shipping. So if you did buy all 28, that's a $30.52. So a total combined of $63 plus tax, plus your $23.99, you're at, what is that? $85. You can buy a set of, the full set of Prismacolors, $150 for around, I've seen them because right now is sale time and we're heading into some holiday sales, so maybe $115. I paid $94 for mine. I thought that was a great deal. Probably very, very low and not something that you're going to find very often. So you can pick and choose these as you need to work on your projects that you want to work on. So that is all I've got. I hope that all made sense. I hope I don't have to do a take 3. And again, the final version of this is going to be a little bit different because I will fine-tune it one last round. So it will probably go live maybe midweek. I work on this just a little bit kind of at night, and now I've got these little pink dots, so I will be enticed to hurry up and finish it because these are repositionable and they don't stay on the best. So I will want to get this committed, digitized, and out to you guys the earlier this week the better. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and tomorrow, or if it's after midnight, it will be later today, we will have our weekly color review. I'll see you then.